Hello, my dear friends. Always a pleasure to sit down. I'd like to be able to sit down more and go over these with you, your questions, and because you guys are really learning and asking very good questions. Some of you are asking questions we haven't covered yet. I think that's pretty cool. You know, we want a complete library to where any question you might have we can answer, even though sometimes we don't know the full answer to everything, of course, obviously. But if there's any way we do and can help you, that's what we want to do. Because, you know, when you get to this level of creation, this is the far reaches of creation, believe it or not. This is some of the lowest levels that creation has to itself. And the positive and negative swings pretty far each way. So it's swinging pretty good to the negative side, but it's supposed to. It's cycles. It's all involved in cycles. As we help others and we uplift and infuse that cycle with energy and all that implies, then consciousness can lift up. And a little at a time, because there's other planets being formed, there's other places that souls can go to work out karmas and stuff. This one is working on its evolutionary growth up. But these are just like, I went to the VHS store and rented a movie. That's all you're doing here is just renting this movie. You're not even renting it. You're enjoying the movie and pull back and you can watch any movie you want. But as a rule, at a beginning, there is a set of cycles that it sends itself through like this. So, how many times have you cycled through this? You know? And I always hear that thing that you cycle through until you get it right. But I don't know what getting right means spiritually. Because there is no right or wrong spiritually. Everything just is. There's no definition except what the mind gives it. Excuse me. This is from Daniel. Hey, Daniel. Hey, I appreciate your work so much. Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate it, man. Love you too. I'm an fruitarian, and as you know, most of Asian will think they have healthy cusine. Yep. Even though most of them were tons of nonsense, as in Chinese medical theory, as they'll be OH, you shouldn't consume fruit. It's too cold and acid. You know, that's amazing to me, but this is true. And the hot and the cold thing, the problem with it, the acidosis yields heat internally, but you can be cold externally by a low thyroid and give the illusionary that you need warm foods because you're cold, and in reality, you're burning up inside. So, yeah, we have to, I think Oriental Chinese medicine or traditional Chinese medicine just needs to bring itself up a little bit into more higher thinking. And I think that if anything, we hopefully will have an influence on that, because they already know there's a lot of families over there that really know how to put together some kick butt herb formulas, that's for sure. There's some old, you know, we talked about Jit Jin Jiao before, and there's some old family recipes there. Prosperous Farmer is an old prostate formula coming out of the ages of herbalism of China. So that's the whole thing, is nailing the right formula down with the right herbs that'll work your body and work your tissues into a healthy state of vitality. That's what you're looking for, the right formula, that everybody, all the herbs there are working together. Once in a while you get a formula where you put an herb in and it's antagonistic to the group. And I kind of use spiritual energies to fill that. I'm familiar with the herbs, but sometimes, even though I've studied herbs for years and years and years, you still learn. Always learn. Even some of the older ones, you know. I used to teach, of course, detoxification classes back in the early 70s and stuff, and I always give my students 10 herbs. I say, you learn these 10 herbs, go buy them, taste them, you know, learn these 10 herbs, and then I'll give you 10 more. And after a while, when you learn them and you use them, it becomes pretty easy what comfrey is, and golden seal, and slippery elm, and mark. Pretty soon, you don't make a difficult world difficult. It's just there's so many different herbs, and that's the problem. So you never want to push the mind to learning stuff. You just have fun with them. You get used to them. You get down and dirty with them. Bruise them. Taste them. We don't need a machine to tell us that they're all the same. I love that standardization bull crap. Pharmaceutical thinking bull crap. We'll just standardize all these formulas. But to standardize anything, you have to change its chemistry. And there's no way. So this whole standardization is brought about by this some type of consciousness that herbs are unpure and uneventful unless they have a certain potency. And of course, pharmaceutical companies would know about these potencies, since most of their potencies are killer potencies. Blah, 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 blah. Just some of this stuff gets me sometimes. You have to forgive me, but even more illness. Yeah. You'll get even more illness and diarrhea. I know there's so many illusionary things, Daniel, out there. So many misconcepts. So many ridiculous ideas. Because somebody probably did go on some fruit and they got diarrhea out of it. And they still do today. There are plenty of people out there that are so toxic, that are so acidic, that when they go on the fruits, the body just explodes. Here's a good way, because you can have, let's say you have 5 clients. Each one of you are working on 5 different people. You can have one person go into a healing crisis within hours of taking the herbs. Within hours. Cold and flu-like symptom, achy, the whole detox syndrome. And others can go months and months, who need them, can go months without a healing crisis like. So there's so many variables, because remember, you as consciousness come packing here with a mind, several components of the mind. You come packing with emotions and a physical body. So, you have some, here, have some bone soup. Like, seriously. Yeah, I know, man. I know where you're coming from. And the sodium. But anyway, the concept of their detox was nonsense. What's up? Thoughts on konjac noodle, apple flour? Please research. I shall. I will. I'll research them for you. And I'll have him give me this back, Daniel, and I'll research those and see what that's from. I can just tell you, though, my opinion on things are obviously nature prepared. Remember, what was his name? Such a good guy. I really liked him, and he's still alive today. He was a big guy, real big guy. He's a black man and a comedian, and wrote a book, Cooking with Mother Nature. He went from, I think he was 500 pounds. So he got up there pretty good, 400 pounds, and then he got a hold of the raw and went raw. And then he wrote a book called Cooking with Mother Nature. Oh, he was a friend of, his name just slips my mind, I apologize, but one of those days out here. But to me, if it's raw fruits and berries and melons, that's number one. Your green fruit, like your avocados, your cucumbers, even maybe your peppers, the veggie fruits, to me, are number 2 in terms of your body's ability to deal with them chemically and to digest them properly. When you start getting into the lettuces, the kales and spinaches and stuff, you're really into herbivore food full force. Thinking that's healthier than a fruit diet for humans is ridiculous, because humans are not herbivores. So trying to force a human into enjoying herbivore food sometimes is a problem, because a lot of you are starting to get to the point where you don't like salads anymore because they're hard to digest. And you'll get that way on fruit, because fruit lends itself, its energy and its chemistry so nicely. I am literally amazed at the people that think fruit is bad for you. I can't even believe that. And how this misconception got out there. Like fruit is so sweet. and yet no one defends fruit as being simple sugars. You know, you got simple sugar fruit here. There's simple sugars. And yet here's a piece of bread with 100 times more sugar. Much sweeter than a fruit. And yet we claim the fruit is bad because it tastes sweet. And water tastes wet. What are you going to do about that? How does 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 of oxygen taste so wet? See, so you got to look at some of those things, and I think there's no question man has to get out of their minds. I mean, the mind at the Homo sapien level here has been so tainted with crap that using your mind is a downfall almost anymore. You got to become more conscious. So yeah, I'll do that, Daniel, but you're right on with that. I see that. But the future, and if that's possible in that area of growth and expansion, to take traditional Chinese medicine way up there. You incorporate and make some changes with that instead of treating with that, and use those botanicals for tissues in the human body, what they were actually made for. You could take traditional Chinese medicine way out there. When you apply the raw foods with that, understand the acid base a little more, instead of just hot, cold, damp, that sort of thing, you'll do better. Because there's a lot of good stuff to Eastern herbology. Michael Terra's got some good books on it, but there's some good stuff there. There's some good Ayurvedic stuff. There's excellent herbs around the world. I just love herbs because when you see their magic and when you experience their magic, it's like, oh, yeah, God put those together. I get it. Yeah. And I'm hoping man on this planet will wake up to the fact of how beautiful these botanicals are for us. So when you start getting into other forms of taking food into, I don't know, if you could make a flour out of apples, I don't know. I'll look all that up. I got to look that up and see what's cooking because I'm not overly savvy on that. I looked at, of course you can't help but study traditional Chinese medicine. And you can't help but study Ayurvedic medicine in my field and coming along my way. But I really like the way we look at it here in America more. You got your 4 body types, the pitas and all that. I understand that in Ayurvedic and all that stuff, but I have to pull back a little more because we are a species. We're not a blood type. We're not all that. We do have different blood types, but just because your blood type's different doesn't mean you require different diets. That's bull crap. And to put any human on a high protein diet, I don't care what your blood type is, I don't care what your body type is, bad news. Chemistry's chemistry. And the human body's the human body. We're a species. Just like the primates a species, you might have different types of primates, but as a rule, they're a species just like herbivores, species, and then within the species you have your different sets. So if you looked at the frugivores, you have the primates and the Homo sapiens. So far, I don't know who else fits in that category. But I'll look them up and get back with you, man. Manca? Hello, Manca, M-A-N-C-A. I have finished the 14-week detox kit 2 months ago. Ooh. Have stayed mostly on fruits, some cooked vegetables. And that's what I'm going to say. If you're going to cheat down, cooked vegetables would make the most sense. If you have to refine things too much, you lose too much. You know what I'm saying? So the less you refine something to cheat, the better off you are. So a good cheat on cooked vegetables, okay. But when you step down too much, I don't know, it's not that it's going to hurt you if you just do it once in a blue moon. No. And then when you come down off of this deeper detoxification, you might balance out a little bit. Figure that way. I think the youth of the world is going to take this into levels I've never seen before. I think some of you young guys are going to bring out stuff to this world that's amazing. So you moms and dads, don't restrict your kids from growing. Let their consciousness exceed. Teach them how to think, and then teach them how to not to think. Teach them how to be conscious, awake, aware. You know what my mom used to do to me? Every day I went to school, she would move something in the house. And then I'd come home from school, me and my sister, and she'd say, "What did I move?" She just loved that game. And my sister could never get it. I always see it right off. "Oh, you moved that book over there. That book was over there." That's how you develop awareness. You develop the ability to observe. If you were thinking, you can't see what she moved because you're too busy in thought to be observant. Because thought takes your attention and puts it into the streams of thought that the ideas that you're congregating out of your mind, or images, whatever they are. When you're observing, you're in the present moment and you're observing what is. And as you get more into that moment, not only do you see, let's say, the book, but then you start to see the energy that makes up the book, and then you start to see where that comes from. It just starts to see more and more and more of what was, let's say, finite and hard, and then you start to see the energy and the consciousness and all that behind it. So it's real cool stuff. But look, this guy is still not filtering after a 14-week protocol. It's disheartening to me. So I want to say that oh, this has got to be a female. She's got kisses. Yep. But it's enough to say, honey, try some dry fasting. Get on, I don't know what Hildy's site is here, but get on, do a 24-hour dry fast. Say, eat fruit one day and then wake up and don't eat anything the next day and that night, and then break it with some fruit juices and that sort of thing. But see if some dry fasting will help open that up a little bit for you, and make sure you're hitting your adrenal glands. I know you are with the 14-week protocol, but you might want to go back to, say, a 400 milligram adrenal glandular, because I'll tell you. And as you guys get your kidneys filtering, let us know if there are certain ways that you did that helped you. Because it's all about kidney filtration. There's no question. You can't filter. I don't care how long you've been on herbs and everything else. Tumors can't go anywhere. Nothing can go anywhere because you have stagnation. But you have to understand that stagnation in an acidic medium is a very serious issue. It creates serious accumulation. You ever hawk up a plug? Some big plug? That's what agglomeration is. And after years of that, with people that don't do any raw or anything, it locks in those lungs. So you have acids, mucus, locked in these tissues. Was it any wonder that you're going to break down a few cells? Of course you're going to break down a few cells. Panicking over that, though, can kill you. So you just have to go back and understand, I'm going to focus on the cause of my problem. And of course, since I live in the world of chemistry, the cause is always going to be chemistry. Now, what am I doing wrong with chemistry? Pull yourself back. What am I eating, drinking, breathing, and what am I putting on my skin that is acidic and that is irritating or creating an immune response in my body called inflammation? And why isn't my body getting rid of these acids? And of course, that's the channel of the lymph system, obvious. And when that gets dehydrated, systemic dehydration is a bugger bear, boy. I mean, because it takes a while you're going to go drink a little water and I'm hydrated. That's insane. There's no way. That's a huge misnomer. And you don't drink Gatorade and rehydrate because that's got a 2.7, 2.8 pH Gatorade. That's scary. Drink enough Gatorade and you'll feel your stomach get highly acidic. Plenty of people do that. So this is a big thing, and you always still want to work with two kidneys, work with the adrenals. And look at this. My urine is still crystal clear. Her urine is still crystal clear after 14 weeks, and that was 2 months ago. So you can see where our problems are. Is getting these kidneys up and running. I wonder what your creatinine is. We'll take a look at your blood work and creatinine. Your creatinine might have been much higher than you think or thought when you started on this. See, because generally when we start on things, we don't think about stats. We just go and say, I'm going to do a detox. And you go right on it. For me as a practitioner, I like to see befores and afters. because that proves my point. I want to see what you look like before, what your stats are before, and then we're going to show you what you look like afterwards and what your stats look like afterwards. I mean, anybody with a good system would want that, right? But if we don't know what your creatinine was. A lot of people enter in the zone here and start working on themselves. They don't know what their stats are, and some of them come from a very advanced state that they never, a little scared to get their blood work because they don't want to know. But it could be you had extremely high creatinine and you're just working yourself back down out of it, But keep hydrating. Keep the fruits and the berries and the melons. The vegetables ain't going to go you nowhere. You want astringent, so stay with the higher stringent levels with the lemon. Try a 10-day or a 15-day lemon juice fast. I'm really concerned as I have run out of money to get more herbs. My iris shows many nerve rings, so I also have some severe under eye bags and lower. Yeah, see, you know what, sweetheart? Listen, please help. I have no idea how to get the kidneys going. Haven't tried a dry fast. Okay, dry fast yet? Do you think it's wise to do that? I do think it's wise to do that. Listen, we're going to have to fix this up here, but definitely want to call in to. You can call in to Gina for you if you would like, and try to set up some financial aid for yourself. We have a little bit, and maybe we can get you some financial aid since you've already did the 14-week protocols and stuff like that, honey. But the severe under eye bags gives it away, doesn't it? In the lower back, that's all kidneys. So 14 weeks, so even in 3 months, you weren't able to get this opened. So it shows you the advanced state. Now the other thing you want to do is get used to picking eye pictures, because right there can show you. Oh, I see why my kidneys are chronic. But you could have excellent kidneys. Believe this or not. You could have excellent kidneys and it'd be your adrenal glands. Of all the eyes I do, the adrenal glands have it. They are always down in people. Some rare, just a little. I just did an eye analysis for a guy, and I couldn't believe it. He acute to subacute at best. I'm going, my God, I've never seen adrenals this strong. Amazing. But they had a lot of lymph around them. So when you get a lot of lymph built around, imagine, here you are, and you're breathing the air, and then someone puts a blanket over you. And then they put another blanket over you, and another blanket over you. And they keep restricting your ability to breathe fresh air in. That same analogy would be like your lymph system becomes stagnant interstitially around the cells, and become more stagnant and more stagnant and more stagnant to where there is no ability for cells to remove their wastes, and they become intracellularly toxic. And that's, of course, that's where you get the mutation of the cell. Outside of a cell, we call that inflammation. Intracellular, that's a little different. That's where we start mutating that cell, making it an atypical to what they call a cancer or a degenerative. I prefer the word degenerative. It's much more appropriate. About talked out. Been real busy, guys. I apologize. Really busy. Kisses, Manca. Thank you, honey. Appreciate that. So you always want to be on 2 kidneys and adrenal, whatever you do. 2 kidneys and adrenal. I like my kidney number 1, kidney number 4. So those 2 are 2 kidney formulas. Go on the adrenals. You might want to do the adrenal 400s. See what your blood pressure is. Check your blood pressure. Bottom blood pressure, diastolic, is your kidneys. Top is your adrenals. If your top number is below 120, low blood pressure. So that's low neurotransmitters, because you not only need your sodium, potassiums and all that to work, you need neurotransmitters for the kidneys. And that would be more dopamine and acetylcholine as opposed to the epis. The epis and the norepinephrine's, those are more for shutting off the kidney function and turning that energy to muscles. Where your dopamines would be the opposite. That would then take over when the adrenalines would shut down. Now you have elimination issues, because you just created a lot of acids from activity, from adrenalines. Now you got to remove all that, including the excessive adrenaline. And that is a lymphatic issue, not a blood issue. So, yeah, we got to help you get your kidneys going, sweetheart. So, whatever we got to do, I try the dry fasting. I try, working with, I keep wanting to think polarity therapy because we were just talking about Stone's polarity therapy, but talking about like an acupuncture or, your one of those days. Foot reflexology and hand reflexology. Those are really good, though. I think I told you I pulled 3 people out of cardiac arrest with actually 2 with their feet and 1 with the hand in my life. 3 people out of cardiac arrest. Let me see here. Oh, this is Gina. Hi, Gina. Hi, honey. Hey, Doc. I'm Gina. And after multiple rounds of antibiotics, this is where this is their big bad stuff. Is antibiotics. You don't want to kill bacteria. You want more of them. Remember the story of the lad on Ripley's Believe It or Not? Went up to Alaska. He had lymphoma. Went up to Alaska. An elder Eskimo put him on rotten meat. 3 months later, no lymphoma left. Cleaned his sewer system with him with the proteolytics. Basically cleaned him up with proteolytic bacterium. So why would you kill the very people you need? But that's medical thinking. And because of that, remember, bacteria is essential in lymph nodes. Essential. Because when cells start pooping, when a cell starts pooping, because cells poop, guys. Cells poop. So when cells poop, that's acidic. But that's about 3 pH acid. You don't want that's Coca-Cola acid. So you can imagine if you were peeing Coke, it might hurt a little. Matter of fact, it'd probably be on your knees peeing, because that's painful. 3 is painful. Hold Coke in your mouth. Burn. That's what bacteria does. It acts upon these acids and breaks them down, bringing it to pH about to 6. Much better. Much better. Yeah. Vital. And when you don't, notice those people that have a lot of antibiotic use, fibromyalgia, lupus, Lyme's, systemic acidosis, painful because they lack the bacteria to help them. And you get their eyes, you see sulfur all over the place, you see all these things all over the place. I've ended up with digestive issues. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And you might, Gina, have some sulfur in there from these sulfate antibiotics. And that is gassy, bloaty, fungal, all that crap. And of course, they don't do digestion worth a hoot because there's your beneficial bacteria that's being killed. And then, you ever notice how antibiotics kill the good? I hate to even use the good and bad thing with bacteria because there's no such thing. But it causes excessive fungal growth. Give a woman an antibiotic and she gets a yeast infection a lot of times. What is wrong with these guys? What's wrong with these guys? See, they have so few true things to help them heal anybody. Actually, very little, if any. They're starting to use our supplements. But you got to move to the herbs. That's where the secrets are. I switched from a vegan diet into a paleo diet with more protein. Less fruits because they bloat me terrible and give me fatigue. I think I don't digest well fructose. Nope, that's not the problem. Not the problem at all, honey. Not the problem at all. And you're going the wrong way. First of all, the paleo diet, what a joke. Man's not a paleo being, first of all. And a paleo diet, I get that they've added fruits and veggies to the paleo diet to make it more appeasing, but when you're in trouble, you do not do protein. And as long as you do, and as long as you have problems, I can't help you. It's that bad. I can't help you if you're going to eat proteins because I disagree with that. I've proved more over and over and over that proteins are pain producers. You don't do the paleo diets. Why does fruit cause so much bloating? That's because you're full of fungus. Exactly, you're full of fungus. You want to back your herbal use. I mean your fruit use with an herbal program, and then you won't have that problem. But herbs are very aggressive. I mean, fruits are very, very aggressive, and you don't want to go just because you don't like the symptoms you're seeing. That's not wise. The symptoms you're seeing shows you have problems in the GI tract, and fruits are very active at pulling. They're highly astringent. So you're going to see more of those type of symptoms. Plus, they definitely move fungal beds. So you're going the wrong way. And vegetables is not a good way to go anywhere. I mean, if you have no care about regeneration or detoxification, have your salads and little fruit, okay. But my focus is regenerative detoxification and rebuilding the human body and consciousness. But fruits do bloat a lot of people that have GI tract problems. You can't let that stop you. You got to use herbs to back you up. And then it'll fix all this. That has nothing to do with fructose digestion whatsoever. Also, after being on Candida diet, what is a Candida diet? You guys want to tell me what a Candida diet is? All right. See, this is the kind of consciousness man has, and we have to change it. Since fungus like sugars, you can't have sugar, so you can't have fruit. All right. So what about vegetables? That's sugar. They're both carbohydrates. So a fruit is a carbohydrate and a vegetable is a carbohydrate. One starts with an F and one starts with a V. They're still carbohydrates. And guess what? They're still simple sugars. You can't get any simple sugar I don't care how ripe and how sweet a fruit tastes. It's still just simple sugar. I eat a piece of bread, I'm in polysaccharides, I'm in monosaccharides with fruit. Doesn't matter what it tastes like, what's the chemistry involved? Okay? So a lot of people just have this totally turned on backwards in that way. And so I'm going on a protein diet, which is an anti-candida diet. Is it really? You know what you do to yourself when you put yourself on a protein diet and avoid sugars? See, and you're not, because a paleo diet has vegetables in it. And vegetables are sugars. They feed Candida, right? You have to understand, Candida and fungus are about fermentation, not about healthy sugars. Put a handful of grapes on your kitchen counter tonight. Gina, put a handful of grapes on your kitchen counter, and I want to put you a piece of bread on the kitchen counter, and I want you to leave that there for a week. And I want you to tell me which one grows mold, fungus, on it first. The fruit or the bread? Which one? You know already, if you guys have done any, in the house or in the kitchen a lot, I can tell you right off. You don't get mold on fruit. That's fungus attacking fruit. You don't get mold on fruit till when? It starts to ferment because it's dying. In its healthy state, it's not a fungal food. If you're eating, all these fermented foods, those are fungal foods. You eat fermented mushrooms, you eat fermented anything, those are fungal foods. Because fungus is involved in fermentation processes. Bacterium in putrefaction. So you're talking, people don't realize what they're saying sometimes when they're talking about this. But you guys got to get this down and realize this, because you have to articulate this to other people and get them to understand that they have it all wrong. Fruit tastes sweet and delicious, but it's not because of its fructose. Fructose isn't the only taste that tastes sweet like that. There are some fruit that does not taste sweet at all, and it's still fructose. Notice that? So each is a specialized set of chemistry. The whole chemistry in and of itself makes it what it is. So you have some berries that are bitter. Still fructose. How do you explain that? See, so we're chewing on the wrong piece of food. And the wrong concepts, wrong ideas. And so you keep moving yourself away from truth because you didn't like the experiences instead of digging more into it, honey. So let's dig more into that. And realize, take some herbs to back up your fruit when you're this bad. And you're going to want to take an herbal, because there is no such thing as a Candida-free diet. Because you go on a high-protein diet, you just mess yourself up bad. And you don't, there's not worth that, because that doesn't get rid of your Candida. Because you'll still have fat breaking down, you'll still have your sugars. You can't run and hide from this problem. You've got to detox this problem out of you. You can't run and hide from it. And you can't change your diet into foods that are not designed for the body, that's acidic, and acidify you all over again, because there goes your kidneys, there goes your adrenals, and now you'll have more fungus. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So you got to get this down, Gina, or you're gonna be bumping around like a leaf blowing in the wind. Over to this, over to this, over to this, over to this. Get yourself focused. Let someone help you that's experienced. You got rawfig.com. You got all these RD people. These guys know exactly about this and how to help you up with this. So our counselors here, all that sort of thing. Get a counselor to put your foot on the right path, get you through this bloaty stuff. But pull a picture of your eyes and look at it. You could have sulfur big time. That would make sense. You know, you get gassy, bloaty with sulfur, and fruit is very proactive at pulling sulfur out. Also, after being on a Candida diet, I've lost weight, pounds, and my digestion is poor. But you're not following what I'm telling you to, so you are taking yourself down to Hellville again, following what everybody got. Ideas and opinions are out there, and no offense, I don't blame you, but at the same time, don't run from this. You got to get fungus out of you. There are plenty of antifungal herbs to do that. At the same time, move your lymph. I've had fungus in people so bad their toenails are all yellow, right, and stuff. I can use antifungals on them, and you'll see half of it go away, but not as effectively until I do what? Clean the sewer system. Clean the lymph system, and then it's all gone. See what I'm saying here? We're talking about your sewer systems. This is where all the gnarlies are. This is the sewage place. And it's all through you, because your cells poop and you have 100 trillion of them and they don't move. They're stuck where they are, brains and all. So everybody has to dump into fluids that carry it away. All cells have to be serviced on site. That's why you have spaces around all your cells called interstitial spaces. Because I've got to get the boys in there with the foods, and I got to get the sewage trucks, the SOS trucks in there, and get all that sewage out of there. I got to have spaces to do that. Interstitial spaces, all hooked to the vascular systems of lymph vessels and blood vessels. Everything is so hooked together to work in harmony, to feed and clean. And then you have the cells to run and make the organism. I have Candida and bacterial imbalances, also parasites, I guess. You got to get on our kits. I can't even say it anymore, honey. You got to at least get on a month worth of kits. You could do the first kit twice. Deworm yourself, because if you see worms up the first kit, I'd do it again. You want to take care of any worms and stuff, and you can't just change your diet and think you're going to get rid of your parasites. You got to do some anti-parasitic work, and there's nothing like the botanical kingdom for that. Man has used herbs for ridding their bodies of parasites since time immemorial. So that's what you need to do, sweetheart, and get your lymph moving, because you're losing weight. It kind of sounds like you're getting interstitial lymphatic constipation here. You're malabsorbed, in other words. And use anti-candida herbals to get rid of this and move your lymph. Get on your kidneys, your adrenals, and it sounds like you got some things going on in your gut here. So get on the GI broom, stomach and bowel formulas, lymphatics, and put yourself down the road of a good detox. And I promise you'll enjoy it, and it'll clean you right up. You know, but see where you are. Wait a minute. I also don't have menstruation and my bilirubin high. Well, clean out your liver, spleen. In other words, get yourself on our detox program. I don't know how to say it anymore. Or one very similar. You know, try to find similar herbs if you can, whatever. But that's the kind of direction you want to go in. And start opening up your body's elimination. That way you're going to clean the liver, the spleen, you're going to clean the blood, the lymph. Everything's going to start getting cleaned and opened up, and so things are going to start getting stronger. The sleeping is going to wake up because you're energizing and you're cleaning and enhancing and rebuilding. All of this is done with the foods and the herbs. Those two things will clean and rebuild your human body. They're designed to do that. And get yourself down the road. Now, woman without menses, I don't know what your age is, Gina, but So it sounds like you should be menstruating, right? So where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? I heard you. And you're right. So you can focus on the pituitary 2 different ways. Actually, 3 different ways. You can do a pituitary glandular, which I don't use anymore. You can use the pituitary herbs, which I do use. And then you can use the female reproductive formula, which is a progesterone type formula. It is not an estrogenic formula. I do not make a female estrogenic formula. And there's a good reason for that. Because there's way too many women with estrogen dominance, and that's the worst thing you could do to a woman is give them more estrogen. Send them out the roof. And many doctors have done that, get them on estrogen replacement programs, and they're already estrogen dominant. They didn't understand that and sent the woman into some serious repercussions. That's not smart. So you want to look at that. You can do the female reproductive formula for a month or so, but I'll tell you this. All you ladies that are within the age of having children and stuff like that, give the body a clean. Get your human body cleaned up. Get your glands on and everything, because you're bringing these high souls into this world. And you ladies are the cheeses. You're the ones. And so it's your responsibility to get your bodies healthy and these babies, because they're going to bring the souls in here to help. And these, there's some big, powerful beings out there. So you ladies are very important to the future of this planet and health-wise. So, but anyway, go after your pituitary with this, and on a good program, you can do that. You can add that in on the second, say the first month or second month, or you'll get your period back for sure. For sure, but you don't want it just back. You want everything healthy because you want it back and you want it proper, and you want the uterine cleaned and everything done to where you miss spot. And when you do conceive, you hold to term, everything's nice, the baby's clean, everything's good, the baby's not red and full of mucus and all this other kind of crap. Pansy. I haven't heard that name in a long time. That's a old name. Hi, Pansy. Pansy Worthy. Wow. I cannot get much organic fruits where I lived. I want to start a grape fast until I get on the 14-day program, which I am going to get. Is there a place that you can recommend? And if not, what is my next option? Get on the rawfig.com and ask them what the name and the telephone number of those that are handling the organic distributions. We have a gentleman that's they're out of Costa Rica, but he's out in Miami and Homestead too, and they have a business they just started. I've been trying to promote him because he's such a love guy. He's from the heart, and he's shipping food to you. If you want organic food, he gets the best he can find, and then he sells it in that way. That's a good way to do that. I got to get that number for you because he's such a good guy. I really like him a lot, and it's part of our group. We're trying to get the best food that we can and all this sort of thing. But I'll say this: I have taken a lot of souls that had physical bodies through the helliest times of some of the worst cases of atrophy or cancers that you've seen, and got them home again. And I've done that on store-bought grapes, non-organic. So all I can say is wash the herbicides, pesticides off, and do your best. Try to get them as ripe as possible and do your best, because isn't it sad that even the worst of grapes or food is still a mile better than what we're eating now? And you'll still get well on the crap of fruits. Imagine what the best of fruits could do to you. Oh. The nirvana, the happiness, the joy, the ecstasy of food that tastes so good that it makes you smile and hug yourself, because you're hugging the universe. Thanks for the good food. That's all I can tell you, honey. I've struggled with this for years. Been frustrated, gave up, got off of raw, got back to raw. You know, when you're alone out in the woods, you guys aren't alone. You guys got us. You got the videos. You got people all over the world that are doing raw now. You've got a heck of a vegan society. Matter of fact, I guess I'm going to be at a World Summit of Vegans. We're going to do it on live on webinar or something. I forget what this is. It's coming up here next month. They're doing a vegan, worldwide vegan, like a seminar, but online. So that's what I do, Patsy. You do your very best, but I like your thinking. I love your thinking, honey. This is just, never hurts. See what it's like. Everybody's used to doing all these things, and there's only so many experiences you can have here, right? In this physical world. It's like a kid playing in their toy box. After a while, okay, I'm playing with all those. It's like my little dogs. They love the little toys. They love the little stuffed animals. And they get them all over the place. And they like certain ones. But, they'll go through the box and, done. Okay. A lot of you are done with this world. These are your lifetimes. You're pretty much want now to find out more about who the viewer has been. Who the experiencer of all these experiences that you have been. Who is that? And this is your time to find out. Each and every one of you. Time to find out who you really are and how beautiful and how magnificent of a being that you guys really are. Never sell yourself short. Hello, Dr. Morse. I'm new to your YouTube. Thank you, man. Thanks for coming aboard. And want to thank you so much for all the work and vibe. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming aboard. My question is, I did a raw food diet a while back and my spleen became underactive. Okay. I need to improve my health again, so want to follow your suggestion of raw food diet. Can you explain how and why my spleen became underactive? My naturopath said to eat more cooked warm foods, but that would not sit well with you. Where do these naturopaths come from? Well, I can bet you it. Now, I'm going to say if this is true. I got to put it this way, because I've only seen once where an acupuncture shut down the meridian of the spleen and created some problems. But I've only seen that once. Raw foods never shut down any spleen or shut down any meridians because they're energetic. So they bring more energy to the mix. However, I want you to think about this, and we've talked about this before. When you start detoxifying, wherever you don't have any problems, you're not going to have a symptom, are you? So, if you don't have any symptoms, any pains or discomforts, that's pretty good. But, this bowel over here is bothering me today. Ow, crap, my knees bother me here. Next day. To have something like this happen, if this is true, you must understand you have a genetic weakness in that spleen. And the raw foods didn't do anything of shutting it down, it exposed it. And it exposed that weakness, because it's impossible for raw foods to shut down anything, because they actually create an anionic environment. They actually turn on, electrify, ionize. You're talking about base dominant foods. So, I don't know who told you that it shut down your spleen meridian. It could have been something else, I don't know. But if this is true, it's only true because you had a genetic weakness there. There's no other reason that you would see a symptom in a spleen eating raw foods. None whatsoever. Because raw enhances. But in the enhancement, if you feel it, there's a weakness there. That's the way it is. So pull your eyes, my friend, and take a look at that. But these naturopaths, more cooked and warm foods, How is that, by the way, going to open up? Let's just say that somehow you've got a genetic weakness in that spleen. Now you're in a detox, you're in a healing crisis, so to speak, and you can have a minor healing crisis like that where the tissue just doesn't function that day. Your thyroid could just go through a day of, I ain't doing nothing. I'm tired. You could, and you do. We do check basals all the time, right? And you check basal temperatures 5 days a week, 7 days a week. You always have 1 or 2 days. Everybody does. It takes a dump down to 95s or low 96s. Every one of us. But as we go and on, those days are, they're there, but rare. Cycles that I can't tell you that I fully understand. There's so many cycles that are out there. The 3s, the 7s, the 12s. Who cares? You're part of the whole thing of creates the whole thing. Cycles are just the way things are. Who cares about these minor things? Thank you in the anticipation of your request, Amanda. Yeah, be careful with that nature path, because the only time you would want warm foods is if you're having too fast of a detox and you want to slow things down. But you can do that by just eating vegetables. Vegetables will slow down detox for sure. Cook them and it'll really slow it down. And sometimes it just stabilizes you to do that. And sometimes, believe it or not, it might be important to your psychic just to stabilize a little bit and then take off again. There's nothing wrong with that. I like to keep going as much as you can. But if you have to stop and stabilize, who cares? This is all about you and a journey of getting your instruments, of your vehicles that you're using to experience in the world of creation healthy, so your experience is better. Yeah, because you know what it's like to experience in bodies that are not up to par, riddled with pain, riddled with tumors, highly acidic bodies, and this planet isn't evolved enough to really help with that. This is why you guys are so important with this evolution of this level of awareness. I can't even overstate it, tell you the truth. Hey, hello, Dr. Morse. I'd like to know about brown scarring of older acne. Interesting. The melanin settled into that area, huh? I see that a lot of times where the melanin just settles in an area like that, and you just see a lot of darker areas like that. Can't say that I know why. I would think, though, as you move deeper into the detox, everything would balance out. Even the melanin in the body, would balance out that way. But definitely, you can tell that chemistry affects chemistry. So acidosis definitely affects melanin. Everything affects everything. Putting together and knowing it all, I don't know if it's all that important, but knowing that you can go through this and probably get rid of this excessive browning of a scar. They seem to stay on my back for long periods of time. They go away then. If that's true, then you have to ask yourself about your lymphatic system. Because, again, to scar, and we're going to go back to the scar itself, you don't want to really scar. When you cut yourself, you want that to be gone. You don't want to see a scar. If you see a scar, you're highly acidic. You're highly acidic. And so you don't want a scar. Your body in a highly alkaline state will not scar. Doesn't need to, because tissue's strong. This is about weaknesses and what the body... ask yourself what a scar tissue is. Many layers of extra cells. Why? It's just like we talked about the skeletal system. When you have a fracture, the body builds a lot more bone or cells around that. Yeah, it's like, that's not going to happen here again. I'm going to take care of this. So there's a conscious awareness of those things. Oh, that hurt me. I'm going to make sure it doesn't hurt me again. I'm going to build this even stronger. Where'd that come from? We know where it came from. Yeah. So, the fact that you scar already kind of leads me down the pathway of saying, there's a guy that's very acidic here. A guy or gal? Gal, Nora. It's the ladies' day at the movies. Yeah, Nora, that's what and stretch marks kind of the same way, that sort of thing. But I don't like the fact that you're seeing scars on the back. Are these like acne scars or something like that? And then, see, and that just shows that you were highly acidic in the first place, see? So, again, this all leads to acidosis and what you need to do to correct this. Interstitial systemic alkalization. I have been a very high raw fruits and veggies consumer for about 4 years now. Now, notice that you can do that without the herbs and still have problems. 4 years on fruit, your body should be healthy as a horse on the prairie. So, it's like even the fruit is inferior nowadays to what it should be. There's no question, we all agree with that one. But once we add the botanicals in here and we start learning and growing, it might take a few lifetimes to move this planet, but okay. But I used to have now this is the key, I used to have a lot of breakouts / acne on my back and face, but more so on my back, and it seems like the old brown stains won't come off. And that's because you probably haven't got rid of the acidosis in the interstitial spaces there or on the subcutaneous tissues of that skin. So keep moving yourself toward that hydration, systemic cleansing and stuff. Keep moving yourself there, Nora. Keep getting yourself healthier and healthier and healthier, and in time they will. I've never seen things like that that stayed around when you were really doing it at the level you need to do it. But I think that really, and it smacks you in your face that, man, I've had a lot of acne. I have a lot of lymph problems. But also want to check that thyroid, because skin could be linked to a low thyroid function where your body's a little too cold. I travel quite a bit, and sometimes I still enjoy a burger and fish and junk food from time to time, but not excessively, or at least not in my eyes. All right, so here's the thing to do, though. Take the time when you're off the road and dig in. I mean, baby, dig in. Get the kidneys, the adrenals, get into the bowel, clean it up with the rake of the broom. I mean, really get your body in shape. Then, those days you're out and you want a burger, okay, you have a burger. But you might get a little kick from it, because it's hard to go from a real pure body into a bugger once in a while without getting your butt kicked. I've done that and got my butt with burgers, but with fish sandwiches, and got my butt kicked bad. Ended up in the hospital. So I'm real cautious what I break diets on. I don't get the craving for that anyway. But it's enough to tell you that you've got a lot of lymph going on here, and you need to get way on up there at the level you need to dig in and clear this out. And you want to make sure your kidneys and adrenals are functioning, Nora. I mean, I don't know how old you are or anything like that, but, if you're young, you've got babies, and if you're older, that's your life. But you want to fix all this up. I'm in Maui now for a few months to do a deep tissue cleanse. Ooh, yeah, now that's what I'm talking about. This is what you need to do, is dig in like this. And then there'll be a point where all these scars and stuff will lighten, and then hopefully go away for you. But you got to go back and fix the cause of the scar tissue first. Make sense? Yeah. Yeah, you could, anywhere along the road, you could start treating, but nothing will give you remedy until you go back and fix the cause. Nothing. I don't care how good it is. Now, what do you suggest I do for my body type and conditions? I don't know what your body type and conditions are, but it's enough to say that I see the human as a species, and that you need to do a raw food diet. I'm into fruits, berries, and melons for detoxifying and as much as sustainable life as possible. And get on if you can afford the 14-week detox, I can't tell you enough to do it, because you'll see the difference. In other words, those guys that can afford that, do a 14-week just on fruits and berries and melons. See how you do with salad maybe. And then do another 14-week and add the 14-week herbal detox in there, just for your own feeling, and see what you have to say about it. See what your experiences are with the difference between no herbs and with herbs. Oh, we know. We spent a lot of years with this. And look at this. She weighs 105 to 110 pounds. She's an athletically toned, ethnic roots from Mexico, but grew up in the U.S. Cool. I mean, she's a good loving woman. With the American and Mexican at home diet. Yeah, Mexican diet's not too good, I'll tell you that. The only thing I can have is a chalupa or a tostada with heavy lettuce, tomato, and heavy guac. And so the worst thing I'm having is a hard corn shell. You could get by with some refried beans if you didn't mind it tearing up your gut. Flour and not so much meat, but a lot of flour and corn tortilla. I'm familiar, honey. I spent a lot of time in Texas, South Texas. But still, none of that's any good. It's just, but thank God, not a less meat, chorizo and all that stuff. I can't remember the last time I've been sick and never had headaches or aches of any kind. Oh, you could have some good genes here. You could have a pretty good body here. You don't know. Excuse me. Where that came from. I feel healthy for the most part, but I have this old acne that has been around for a while on my back that no matter how long I've been mostly raw, these stains don't go away. Stains, well, I still say you have a pull of melanin in those areas, and it could have been from the original high acidosis that those particular spots were. Keep digging. Keep digging. Make sure your pituitary is good. Make sure your endocrine glands are all set up, your adrenals, your filtering. Just keep digging in and moving. Because it's all you can do. And keep digger and deeper. You're going to a deep tissue cleanse place anyway. So keep digging deeper and deeper into that body to resurrect it until you're happy with what you see. Make your body do what you want it to do. You're the boss. You're the commander-in-chief. And it tells her that there's something really deep. I need to reach and regenerate these cells. It might not just be the cells, you know. It just, you know, you could pull melanin into that area or something, and you just have to let all that filter away and get away. That would be an indication that your lymph system is a little sluggish, though. I'm just saying, the best way to see the condition each and every one of you are in, irises. Pick your irises. That is the best place to see what condition your condition is in. I guess he did finally admit that the facial surgery didn't go wrong. I was reading a thing on Kenny Rogers. Remember where he was in the, what was it, the fifth dimension, or what was he in? I guess to see what condition my condition was in. Thank you, honey. I love your work and heard about you through Brian. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. In Costa Rica. Yeah. And which is where I had my transformation on health 4 years ago. Oh, that's cool. Well, there's a center down there, you know, now, and those guys are detoxing people and doing spiritual things in the center, and I just love that. And so, yeah, excellent. You know, we're all a good group, and you know, there's always these little things that come up here and there, but we're a real good group, and I think we all need to merge with all the raw groups and stuff, and we just become one big, solid, strong group of raw focus. Herbs are universal. We all have to get to the reality of those. They are our sweethearts. And get rid of any of this animosity or any idea that they're in any way bad. That's all propaganda crap. That's from pharmaceutical crap and stuff like that. And of course, their world started with botanicals. Of course, now they went from botanicals. Now, I love this medical doctor talking about the willow and how the aspirin's from the willow. What he neglected to tell you was that was in the past. Now aspirins are made from coal tar products. Now, just go buy some Bayer aspirin. Take a couple of Bayer aspirin, get yourself a Bunsen burner or a flame, and hold that, better get something to hold the spoon, but hold that over there and let that Bayer aspirin melt and see what you see. Not good. So, what once was herbs is now coal tar products. Can you please advise on what kind of cleanse I should do? I have been on a water fast now for a week. That's damn good, honey. And about to jump into green grapes for a few days, then mono meal on papaya. I love it. Love it. Sounds good. And keep playing like that. See which of those mono meals your body really is in harmony with. You'll know. Like I was so in harmony with those navel oranges that every bite was nirvanic. I mean, that's what your food should be. You know, it's funny how we've adapted ourselves to live to eat. And really we should be eating to live. But in the process of eating to live, we should be able to have maximum enjoyment of that. We have so perverted that now our enjoyment is custard instead of a mighty fine vine-ripe grape. Of course, custard's pretty good too, but think about the worst of the worst. I mean, that's the sort of thing we've done. We've made us some good tasting stuff, but look what we made it out of. Milks and sugars and eggs and... oh. But if you do a little, what's that little dabble do you? Yeah. I think you're right on, sweetie. Monica, Nora, I think your focus is really good here. I love papaya. I mean, I don't like them myself personally, but I think excellent fruit. I call it a fruit. Melon, whatever category you want to put it in, but I hold papaya in a higher esteem. I really do. Sound good? Sounds good. And you can shake it up and try all different fruit, different ways. Doesn't matter. Just have fun with it, because it's going to tell you what's more in harmony with your body, what your body really likes chemically and everything else, and it's a lot of fun to shake it up. It's a lot of fun to enter the world of self-discipline. I'm going to try my papaya for a week, then I'm going to do the oranges for a week, and then I'm going to try this for a week, I'm going to do this and this and this. That's another level of self-discipline. When you guys wake up to this, you're going, now I'm the driver of my own car. Nora, Nora, am driving my own car. I will determine everything I need for my body's health and the way I want to experience life. Start reclaiming the power that you guys are. You know, we've just turned our power over to governments and police and things like that. It's like, let's look at the blowback from all that. Nope, stand tall. Be the God person you are. Let me see, honey, I'm sorry this is all jagged. I feel great, and I might just go back to the water fast and stay for a while. Do a little dry fasting, 24 hours or something. Make sure you visit that road again. You know, sometimes you feel so much better when you don't eat, to be honest with you. So sometimes water fasts are real in harmony with you, because, you know, so I don't eat a lot. Believe it or not, as big as I am, I don't eat a lot. And I don't need much to sustain me. That's a problem. Thank you so much for your work. Well, thank you, Nora. I appreciate it. Love you, honey. Thank you, man. Looking forward to meeting you someday in person. Have a publication that issues quarterly called SERNA Magazine, and would love to do an interview on your teachings. Would love to do it. You just let me know. Be happy to help you. Happy to help this world. It's what I'm here for. That's why you guys are coming. It's fun stuff, isn't it? I love you guys. I mean, it's fun when you come in. It's fun to meet you. You're all beautiful people. You're working on your health. It's exciting. Exciting times. And it's heading for big time. You'll see it's coming. We're headed for some bigger times. I mean, much bigger times. Hey there, Dr. Morse. My name is Jack. Hey, Jack. I really respect and appreciate what you're doing in this world to me. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate that. For you to say that means you're a spiritual dude, my friend. I appreciate that, Jack. Thanks for coming aboard here, man. Oh, look at this. Jack is 17 years young. Look at that. I really appreciate you coming on board, Jack. 17 years old. I was born with barely visible spots of eczema. But they were still there, weren't they? Yep. Which have now become very severe from head to toe. Yep. There's so much. Man, I tell you what. We have to inform these mamas about the lymph systems, because there's so many babies coming through with extreme lymphatic problems here. It's like Jack here, you know, that they just hardly have a chance. They come right out, their whorls, you know, that's when they're starting to get their gonadals going and everything, and then they got acne all. It's just a sad thing. But you guys are involved in helping me change this whole world. Jack, you are too, helping us change the way young people look at things and understand where their problem is and how to fix it, so they don't have to go through a world like this and go through steroids and, God forbid, anything like Accutane. Oh my God. Oh man. Some spots are weepy. See that weepiness you have? that clear weepiness, that's acidic. And if you don't clean it off, it'll burn your skin more. This is all from the lymph. This is all lymph. Dry, scaly, crusty, that's highly dehydrated. This is acidic, acid lymph. It can dehydrate, it can ooze, and sometimes, stink. Proteins. And the itching is horrible, full of fungus. Full of fungus. That's what I'm saying. You want total Candida removal, you have to detox your lymph system. Can't just use antifungals and stay away from eating sugars. You can't do that. It's impossible. Wrong thinking. Wrong direction. Big time. Get yourself in trouble doing that. Yeah, I feel sorry for you, Jack. I know you're in trouble here, man. But go back to the kidneys. Go back to our other videos on that, because there's so many of you guys suffering. Kidneys, kidneys, kidneys. Adrenals, adrenals, adrenals. Those two have to be addressed. Also, basal temperatures under the arm. Check that thyroid. Make sure you're at least in the mid-97s. Mid-97s to 98. Better. And if you can't sweat, come down here. You can use salt water to help ease the discomfort of this, Jack. And we have burn salves that'll help with them because they're burns. I have tried numerous treatments from regular doctors, one being light therapy. I quit going because, if anything, it made me way worse. Oh, yeah. See, you can't put anything that has a connotation of acids involved in these spots or involved at all in this, because it'll just exacerbate your problem and not be a fun trip for you. Because you know you're on there. Remember, there's only two sides of chemistry, and you can always ask, what type of chemistry is my condition on? You can always ask that, because everything is chemistry. So at one level, you can answer your problem through chemistry. You have to be able to. See? So you're highly acidic, no question about that. This isn't high alkalinity, this is high acidosis. That's why it burns like that. You know, that's why it's dry, crusty, agglomerated, weepy. Yeah. After a couple of months after I stopped, I started to get a very painful and annoying tingling all over my body whenever I got hot. This has been going on for 2 years and keeps getting worse. I don't like that either, Jack. You know, and but Jack is telling us what acid on top of acid does. So imagine those poor souls that are lined up like animals to the slaughter taking chemo. Acid on top of acid. But it isn't just any acid. It's 10 to 50 times hotter than the acid that it's going on top of. You don't come out of those things well. You have to have major genes to come out of those things. And to me, it's all a criminal act. You know, if our law enforcement understood the truth about chemistry, giving someone chemotherapy would be a serious crime. Even though adrenal's on the opposite side, it still would be a crime. This has been, before start to have a horrible and very pain all over his body. See, I don't like this, Jack. That reminds me that your nervous system's down, your myelin sheaths are down because of your adrenals. They're very subject to pain. As acids build up, you're going to have the blowback of pain. So, yeah, this isn't good. So, here again, it leads us to the kidneys and adrenals, right? Because this is your sewer system. So you want to get your kidneys filtering, get the adrenals up to help that, but also to get more your dopamines and stuff to get the kidneys working, but also your steroids. Get you some antacid power going on here, and also to enhance the myelin sheaths so you'll feel less pain. Pain is a product of acidosis, pure and simple. Also experience this when I get nervous or anxious. See, and that's what I'm saying, is that when you start to invoke the nervous system, it is so weak that and so acidic that you experience pain from this. Interesting. From research I've done, I understand this is called heat hives, acidosis. I don't know if the light therapy brought this on or not, but it might just been some contributing factor. That's all. I wouldn't think that would have anything other than a contributing factor to that. And that, you really want to go to causative factors, and this, of course, that you were in your mom, and this goes back to the lymphatic system, your kidneys and adrenals. Your mom wasn't filtering, it's obvious, and then neither are you, which is obvious. So get that all done, Jack, and you'll have this all gone away for the rest of your life. So what you do now in the next couple of years can change your whole life to have a great one. And you want to do this because after this, it's tumors, and it keeps on going. Keeps on going. There's no coming out of this. Then you got your basals and squamouses, and it just keeps on going. Just keeps on going. Unless you fix it, it keeps on going because they don't know how to fix anything like this. Another problem I have is my joints. I can barely move without some sort of pain. And again, I'm still fighting a little of my knees, and it was very interesting to me. Twerking the lower back, and I have a little compression back there. It's just years of not taking care of I've been a hard worker all my life, guys. I built houses 7 days a week. Very concrete kind of guy, so I've been a lot of heavy, hard work. Really took my body through a lot of hell, but I felt good doing it, but it was still. But when I tweaked my lower back, it's like it affected the lymph vessels out of my left leg or my right leg, and so I could feel that getting stiff. So if I sit too long like this doing a video, I get up, my knee is real stiff, and I go, that's not filtering, but that's spinal, and that brings us to the lymphatic system. Remember the professor? She said that the spinal fluid was being used to clean the brain. It's like, what? So we've got that'll be interesting if that's the truth. That would then connect the lower extremities to the spinal fluid, up and then out to the kidney matrix. So interesting what the future will be in our discoveries of how the fluid flows. I don't know if I can announce this yet. Maybe I can, but I'll just sneak it in under the breath. We've hired another counselor, and I've talked to this lady a couple times over YouTube. She's asked a couple questions, and I've talked to her over the phone. She's a 16-year college professor of anatomy and physiology. Oh, and I love her because she really gets it. And we were talking about the University of Virginia finding the lymphatic vessels piggybacking the veins, not the arteries, the veins. And I thought significant because through either osmosis or infusion, you might have some pulling of acids through the walls into the lymph vessels. I'm telling you, the supreme one is slick. So how it did it, we're still looking. But there's so much we don't know, but there's so much we do know. And that's what we work on, what we know. And what we know is enough to get you plenty away from out of Hellville to Wellville. But it's certainly interesting to learn more of the connecting links of why things aren't happening for some. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe we ought to all make sure our spines are nice and straight and we have a good spinal flow, because maybe that's in some way involved or affects us when we're having tumors and stuff. Because, again, we all know the importance of having a straight spine, the blood and lymph flows, but what about the spinal fluid? And its real job. See, there's a lot of hypotheses and theories out there, but truth is really hard to chew on out there and find it. But it just shows here, this is just more evidence, Jack, that your kidneys are down, you're not filtering, your lymph is backed up in the joints too, it's systemic, you're feeling the acid in the joints, of course, you're moving your joints more than any other tissue in the body, so you're feeling them even more. The more activity, the more acidosis, and if you're not removing it, then you're seeing more problems where you're creating more acids, that sort of thing. And my knees don't bend well. Yep, that's all lymph stagnation. Know exactly what that is. I've been through that myself. And they dislocate. Oh, no. They dislocate often. Oh, no. Along with shoulders. Oh, no. No. Guys, so now, Jack's got another problem here. Where are we going? Oh, my. I think you guys are one of the smartest people on the planet. Someone out there, I heard him say parathyroid. Absolutely. Absolutely parathyroid, Jack. Yeah. And you want to move your lymph, get all these acids out, the inflammation out, get on that parathyroid and lock these joints back. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So one, you got to get your lymphatic system moving and filtering. Key number uno one, all right? Take care of the skin, joints, and all that. But I still say you're losing a lot of calcium here, so you need to put that parathyroid back. And so what I do is do the parathyroid. It's a 50 milligram, 2-3 times a day. Piggyback with the bones, 3 times a day, and start digging in. At the same time, I'm hooking on the kidneys, the adrenals. I'm getting my lymph moving. I'm working on my bowels. My neck and back are very stiff and pop and crack all the time. That's lymph. So that's the first thing that shows you down the spine you're not filtering, and you're stagnant, and it's working its way up into your neck. Here's the cerebellum. Oh, equilibrium, dizzy, vertigo, swinging blood pressures, not fun. Stars and moons. Yeah, dizziness, a blurry vision. All those cerebellum, and that's you're getting tight. No, Jack, you answered your own problems, questions right here. That's all lymphatic for sure. Kidneys and adrenals, man. Get on the bowels, open them up, get a picture of your eyes, take a look at this. Pretty often I get some very severe piercing pain in my stomach that is so bad I can't move until it has passed, which usually takes 15 to 20 minutes to have a spasm that long, huh? Well, you're spasming. When you cramp or spasm like that, that all happens under acidosis, but I'm not too, I can get that with the loose joints, because what are we talking about, guys? As he moves calcium out of tissue, it'll spaz on you. So he's getting cramping or something, high acidosis here interstitially. You're losing calcium, so you could get some spasticity there and a cramp, but to last 15, 20 minutes. So this is what I would do. I'd get the antispasmodic and take that along with the regular herbs. I'd get on the first couple of kits. You got to afford that, Jack. You got to at least go that route and really start getting things moved. Move yourself on a fruit and berry and melon diet. Get up there as fast as you can. You want to open all these channels up. You definitely want to get after it, deworm yourself, defungal yourself, because this stuff's going to itch like crazy. And then get those kidneys filtering, the adrenals, and get honking on this. I don't care what you see with the skin, all right? Watch other videos. When you guys with the skin like this, when you start opening up your doors, everybody wants to rush to the eliminative organs. So if your skin looks a lot worse, good. You're moving out the acids. This is just, it's proof that it's working. Because now what's in is coming out. You didn't expect to look good while you open the doors and pull all these acids out, did you? No. And I don't know what people think. I'm going to eat food and I'm going to look like $1 million the next day. Please. Here's other health problems that Jack has. Bad asthma. Already tells you right there, adrenal. So Jack is just one of millions and millions of souls coming into these bodies with weak kidneys and adrenals and bad lymph systems. And this is just what you're seeing with Jack's world here. And of course, Jack's world are weak adrenals because he has asthma. What part of the adrenal glands am I referring to? The medulla. The medulla is where the neural transmitters are produced. The neural transmitters. Now that neurotransmitters is just what it is. It helps transmit. So it runs the myelin sheaths. It transmits impulses down the myelin sheaths. And that's just exactly what you're low in. So when asthma is part of the COPD chain. We were just talking about that earlier. And of course, that's what's happening to you. You're not being able to get an out breath properly enough. So you have to work on your adrenal glands, because your kidneys are down anyway. So you're going after the adrenals, and I would hitchhike brain and nerve number 2 with that one. Enhance it. But I would also add the antispasmodic till this pain in the stomach. We get this all cleaned up, and you don't have that spasm or cramping in the stomach anymore. That's not good. Very poor vision without glasses. Again, you're stiff and tight up here, cerebellum. That's where the optic nerves cross and meet the autonomic. Just saying. A couple of cavities have a chipped tooth. Well, again, I think you're not utilizing calcium well. I think that you need to take a look at the parathyroid. That would conjure up another question about the pituitary. How tall are you, Jack, and all that other stuff. And, you know, you young guys are smart. Pull a copy of Youre Eyes, get into your body, learn about your body, what your body is, your own specific body you have in this lifetime. We're teaching you how to take care of it the proper way and rebuild it. You know, show this world how a soul comes into this world, rebuilds its body, and then saves the world. That's what you guys are here for. No short order. Depression. You just checked parathyroid off for me right there, Jack. Checkmate. All right. Depression. Parathyroid. Anxiety. Checkmate. Adrenals. Mood swings and anger all the time. Liver. So you want to clean your liver out, man. You want to detox your liver and pancreas, detox your bowels. You know, depression's parathyroid. I knew you had that. So that's your parathyroid gland. Anxiety, that's your adrenals. So they must really be down high. That's 5'6". Definitely pituitary's involved, man. Jack, you want to take a look at your pituitary. If your sinuses are involved, all the mucus up in the pituitary. So you want to take a look at that. I'm going to say pituitary, get a picture of your eyes. That also means your transverse bowel is involved. And your cramping, that pain that you're talking about, might not be in your stomach, Jack. Might be in your transverse colon, right in the middle, right where your pituitary glands come, right here. Picture of your eyes will tell you. If you have black in around the stomach ring, could be the stomach. Had a little decay, atrophy there, but in looking at this could be your transverse bowel, which is right up there by the stomach. Could give you that sensation. And that would make more sense, since peristalsis is somewhat involved with that you would get that bite. Ugh, bodies. Oh, and I'm skinny, can't gain weight, malabsorption, obvious. So that's just all proof that your lymph system down in the wall of your small and large bowels, that you're not absorbing your nutrition. The next thing, of course, it would be IBS or whatever with that, Crohn's or ulcerative colitis and all that sort of things, enteritis and stuff. And thank you, Jack, for writing in here. Sore throat pretty frequently. So it's just showing you that you got a weakness in the throat and a lot of mucus. Detox yourself, fix the throat, fix all that up, will fix itself up. You can fix yourself, but Jack, you need to spend some time on yourself. That's obvious. You got to get your parathyroid, get your pituitary up. It'll swing up and go out to your parathyroid. So at some time, I would definitely add pituitary herbals. And that same month I would do the pituitary herbals, I would hitchhike the parathyroid gland and a bones formula. But you want to start detoxing a little bit. I'd take a month to detox deeper and then do that. And it can't hurt anyway, because these are just herbs and stuff like that on the pituitary, but it sounds like you need to bring that up a little bit, which will then help bring up the parathyroid. You're also going to be working on the parathyroid with parathyroid tissue, so that'll enhance the parathyroid from that viewpoint, and then the PTH coming from the pituitary, that'll help enhance that. Then with the bones formula, you've got specific herbs for the skeletal system and connective tissue, and of course all high in calcium, so then you have the calcium to be utilized with the PTH and blah 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 blah. But you've got to detoxify and get these acids out of you and get that skin up, because, and don't forget, Jack, it could look a lot worse before it gets better. Always use salt water maybe to tone that down a little bit, but open thy doors, Jack, and eliminate. No matter what you see, because what few months it takes to do that, you're only 17. And if you don't do it now, things do not get better unless you do something about it. And this society would rather have your money than you better. And I'd rather have you better. Makes for a better society. They just have things back-asswards on this planet. Okay, here's one. Oh, this is Monica. Hello, Monica. A huge hello, Dr. Morse, and a huge hello to Monica. I have a question others may be curious about too. Oh, good. What is the chemistry, physics, and energy behind an orgasm, and does it help or hinder detoxification on any level? That's an interesting question. Furthermore, do people require a partner or any particular gender to create a closed circuit? Honey, you can close your own circuit. Or is that also just a bogus myth? Yeah. You know, you are the circuit. Your consciousness, your awareness, that's the infinite part of all life. You, within your beingness, is all life. You house everything. You are part of the all. There's no circuits to close. This is all creation crap. Your consciousness is, you are the one and only one. And so, individualized and experiencing. So, you know, there's all kinds of theories about circuits and closed circuits and things like that out there. And it's like, you know what? Be the power, be the beauty, be the spirit, the prana, the act, the life force itself. You be that which is. In a universe starving for love and beauty and light, you be the love and beauty and light. But to get it, you must touch the cloak of God. Well, since you're already from there, you don't have to do anything to do that, but get out of your mind, which is keeping you away from understanding that. Your thoughts keep you away from your awareness. Thoughts are just thinking images. But if you're always thinking, always involved in putting images together for future planning and this and that and daydreaming, how are you ever going to become awake and conscious? You know, the chemistry of semen is heavy lipids, if you hadn't noticed. And you know why? Protects the sperm from acids of the female. You know, you have to look at all that and how God made all this and why it's such a viscous liquid or a lipid substance. Because again, it's protective against the acids of the body. You know, it's funny how you got such a negative planet. And it polarizes to the negative. It polarizes to proteins. It polarizes to the negative side of things instead of the positive side of things. So instead of carbon being great, nitrogen is great. And yet we've demonstrated that in all viable foods, including the milks of most species and humans, that protein is it is a little more than the minerals, but it's half of the lipids, and the lipids is half of the carbs. So carbohydrates rule. But that's your energy mechanisms. And all that they imply, all that the carbon chains, saccharide chains do in the body. Amazing. And I don't even know all that, you know. But, you know, you can be your own closed circuit if you wanted to be, but it's always nice to have that. Someone had asked me a while back about being a celibate, you know, not having orgasms. And there is something about the retention of semen, you know, and the nutritive side of that. And of course, you see how some of the semen is being used as skin care products and stuff like that because it's highly lipid and nutritive. But it would be, considering that it's carrying organisms in there. You know what I mean? It's carrying the sperm and stuff. So, you know, there's always protection. So it's a lipid-based system. But I don't know all the chemistry of that. Never did study that. Never had a professor willing to talk about it. The energy behind it, of course, that's where you deplete your energy. Obvious. You know, give me a but. I don't know what to say about that. It's also how you excite and turn on and open up and you know, romance. It just turns on the senses and everything else. So I like it all. I just think that I've done both. I've been celibate for about 2 years once. And I have so much energy, it doesn't matter to me one way or the other. If you're hooked to God, and you're consciously, you know, being a channel for that, a little bit of romance and sex and stuff like that's no big deal. Because your power doesn't come from this world, doesn't come from chemistry. Your power comes from consciousness. And that is a whole nother level. So, you know, we look at the physical energies and the physical circuits and stuff like that, yada, 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 in the astral, okay, yeah. But you guys come from the powerhouse itself. You know what I mean? So don't sell yourself short on that. And that's just what we're looking. We're used to working as separate beings, as isolated little humans, and looking at the wondrous all of all, and looking at, well, the circuits, and we need to do this, and all these little things of creation. Turn that around. Turn that perspective around. And that's all you got to do, because it's just a perspective you're holding. Turn it around. Pull yourself back up as you're looking down or out from God. You're looking out from a quiet consciousness, from an awakeness, and the mind is over here somewhere watching, waiting for you to tell it to do something. So now you can see and observe so much more. But you're the powerhouse in and of itself. So when you're looking at little forms of electrical currents on planet Earth, see what I'm saying? And you guys come right out of the powerhouse of all creation. Hey Sue, this is Sue Jacobs. Thank you for your informative YouTube videos. Thank you, Sue. Appreciate that. I feel I should buy your Heal Everything tea, but am writing to check that this is what you would recommend. My husband has penile pain. Where are these coming from? My husband has penile pain and throbbing ever since his resection of prostate operation 3 years ago. Oh my God. See, this is the problem when you get into these surgeries and you get into these things. Some of the side effects ain't so good. Well, that's right, Granny. I can't say ain't. Well, okay, so you know, first of all, to have a resection or anything done to the prostate, you talking about prostatitis or prostate cancer, obviously. So this is a lot of acidosis, but it's everywhere. It's in his testicles, it's everywhere. You want to pull him out of pain, you got to get him out of acidosis. To get him out of acidosis, you got to get him away from proteins and all things that are acidic forming. That's your grains, your beans, your meats. You want to get him up on and fix. You got to go back and fix your man from the beginning the right way, the way he should have fixed this prostate problem. But because he chose to treat the symptom, now he's got another symptom, worse. It's just a nightmare from hell. And the fact that he can develop scar tissue, can make some kind of pain like, so his only hope, unless it's scar tissue, the surgeon can go in and cut out, but then it just makes more. Because when you do surgeries on weakened, highly acidic areas, it scars. So you want to do surgery, the last thing you do. You want to try to fix it first. Now, the kidneys and adrenal glands are your main issues here. So you want to get into his kidneys, get them filtering, his adrenal glands, and you want to get him alkalized and pull all this acid out of his prostate. And if there's scar tissue from the surgery, you're going to have to wait till it eats itself up. At least you're bringing him on the anti-pain side of life and chemistry. Right now, he's been eating and everything on the pain side of chemistry. I can tell you he wouldn't be in this. And he wouldn't have had the prostate problems. So now he has to learn you've got to drop what he might like, the proteins and all that, and visit our side for a while or enjoy the pain. And that's not a good pain in the male organ. So you've got to fix his prostate problem to fix this. And you have to go back at the kidneys. You have to go back, like we're talking on these videos, go back to my protocol video, or get in here and get on the 14-week protocol. But your husband has to belly up and get 100% raw and get past this, or you can't get past this. So you got to convince your man that he's got to eat a diet like a primate, like a monkey diet for a while. His better yet, a human diet, which is fruits. We're frugivores. His bladder was very sore. Oh, I bet. His bladder was very sore and red when he saw it on the screen a couple of years ago for urine retention. He's swollen down there, honey. It's all swollen and acidic. And the only result of that is decay and deterioration. They use the word cancer for that. But it's the end process of acidosis is deterioration and decay of tissue. You're done. So you have to he's got to back himself up and fix that. And the kidneys and adrenals are the main focus. And I'd clean up the bowels. I'd go into a systemic detox. Because you look like his bladder's on its way out too. You know, and you got to be careful there to decay the bladder. I mean, there's serious stuff here. You know, when you get into these levels, so it's serious stuff, and your man needs to belly up and head on down the road of detox like all these other beautiful people are doing on grape fasts and diets and stuff like that. They're taking care of themselves. They're pulling themselves out of these deeper areas of hellville of acidosis. Mm-hmm. He does not have retention now, but the penis is sore, especially when he passes water. We were told his bladder is enlarged. So hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is enlargement. What makes things swell and enlarged? Edema, water, acidosis, dehydration. So when you hydrate with base-dominant foods, alkaline-dominant foods, swelling goes down. Especially when you get what filtering? Kidneys, the lymph system. When you get the sewer system moving, the acids start coming out, all the swelling and everything goes down. But not if you're eating an acid-forming diet, because you haven't got the kidneys to work with an acid forming. You keep hitting the body with acids. See, so we got to change that. Youll tea would be a perfect tea for him to drink. And I'd be drinking that, I'd be sipping on that all day long. So yeah, absolutely, be a good tea to drink, but you, a lot more than the tea. You want to get up there, you got to fix this man. You can't just drink a little bit of herbal tea and going to fix probably a prostate cancer case here. I mean, I had people do that. I can't believe that. I had an herbalist once, and she had a basal cell, went to a squamous cell on her face. She somehow read about our Youll tea. She did, what'd she say, 5 cups a day for 2 months and no more cancer left. I just did the tea, but I don't recommend it. Head off and get his body fixed up. I have to apologize on this one. I can't pronounce the name. It's Elide, Von, and then it's Alvensleben. So I'm not even going to try and get it messed up. I am struggling with Lyme, chronic Candida, hepatic eruptions, etc. for over 20 years, misdiagnosed for 12 years now, I bet. It's chronic for past 3 years. We introduced to you by Dana Walsh, have been watching your videos daily. I live in Bermuda, nice place, and am unable to travel due to my present condition. Feel my body is crumbling, and it is. You're right on, man. Body pain is between 4 and a 10, and sometimes a 10-10. Daily, I never know what I will wake up to. Do you treat Lyme? I am at such a loss. Elide? Yeah, Elide, I don't treat Lyme. I don't treat anything. Because if you treat what they call Lyme, you'll never be successful and you'll get worse and worse and worse. They're living proof of it. And the same thing with lupus, and the same thing with fibromyalgia, and the same thing with RA. This is systemic, you're in systemic acidosis, my friend. Call it what you want. But if you want to know the real truthful name in chemistry for this, is systemic acidosis. And if you don't fix this, then nothing ever gets better, and you were absolutely right, your life is crumbling down. So, listen to these videos. You've got to get on these, get yourself on a raw diet. You're in Bermuda, your perfect place, so get yourself on fruits, berries, and melons. That's it. Get this stuff turned around here and get yourself fixed up. Get on the herbal detox. Get on the 14-week protocol and start moving your lymph. Now, you could have some symptoms up and down. Who cares what you see? You're heading toward Wellville. You're going to open your kidneys filtration. You're going to get your adrenals up and get this lymph filtering. This will pull all the pain out of your body and probably sulfur too. Because my guess with this Lyme, you probably have a lot of sulfur in you. Why the chronic Candida? So I would use heavy parasite in, maybe a dropper and a half, 2 dropper fulls, 3 to 4 times a day. But I'm going after my lymph system. With that, I have liver hepatic herbs in that kit, so I'm going to hit your liver gallbladder for about a month and a half. Then I'm going after your skin, which has similar herbs in it anyway. So actually, I'm going after your skin, your liver, and gallbladder, and I'm going to hit the pancreas for the first 2 or 3 months. But what goes wrong in the liver? What goes wrong in the heart? What goes wrong in the kidneys? The lymph system. Each tissue has blood, nerve, and lymph, blood, nerve, and lymph, blood, nerve, and lymph, blood, nerve, and lymph, as the 3 energy flows that sustain all tissue. Blood feeds them, nerve moves them, and lymph cleans them. So you have feeding, moving, and cleaning. Blood, nerve, and lymph. And all tissues have it. Heart, lungs, bowels, kidneys, everybody. When they're down, the organ or gland is down. Now, what can make them down is the gland that produces the hormones or steroids involved in that process can be down. Right? Genetics or whatever. But what makes them all go down? What really makes everything go down? Well, you only got 2 sides of chemistry. Got to address that one. Acids. So, what's the nature of acids and what do acids do to me? It dehydrates you. It creates what we call a glomulation, or what we call a cationic environment. It's an environment of dehydration, everything starts sticking, tumors start forming, all of these things. The only way you're going to be successful at a remedy is simply walking to the other side of chemistry. I'm just going to walk on this side of chemistry. Now I'm on the healing side of chemistry. But if you walk back over to the acid side of chemistry, enjoy the pain. Because that's what you're doing. So you can go on your paleo diets and everything else, but enjoy the pain. Enjoy where that's going to take you. Because there's no such thing as paleo. Really look at that. That's such a myth, I think. The universe cavemen, for sure, but not where we came from. So don't be at a loss. Get yourself focused. You've got a human body here that is made of cells. And you've got 2 major fluids. You've got a blood flow, which is your nutritional flow. Causes no pain, causes no problems, unless you ain't getting it there. Or you make it acidic, and you're dead. Now, the other flow in a house is your sewer flow. Thank you. Your exhaust system, your sewer flow, your lymphatic system. That system is the one of acids. That's the system of one of pain, swelling, tumors, cysts, skin, lupus, Lyme's, the loss of calcium. It sucks calcium out of you. Edema, all fall under this roof of acidosis. And unless you correct that, I don't know how you get better. You can throw anything in there you want in the body. You can throw pharmaceuticals of all kinds. You can throw vitamins and minerals of all kinds, amino acids of all kinds. Your CoQs. You can throw in, let's throw in some probiotics. Let's throw in some digestive enzymes. None of that will help you or save you. None of it. You have to roll up your sleeves and understand a little bit how your body's made, which we teach all through here, all these videos. And then go after it. And it won't take long and you'll have your life back. Because you're trying to treat, but you don't know any better. And that's the problem. Our society treats. Treatment never cures. Never. But if you reverse how you created this, always cures. Always cures. So my friend, get yourself on a fruit, berry, and melon diet. Look on the protocols, or set up you a 14-week protocol here, or get a counselor connected, and you'll get yourself cleaned up. No more lupus. Lupus, Lyme's, fibromyalgia, guys, very doable, very getting rid of. I don't want to use curable because those are diseases, and diseases aren't curable. But when you have systemic acidosis, which they call those things, very curable. All is. And there's no reason you can't get yourself cured with this at all. One more, I gotta go, one more, but we'll do one more. This is Maria. Maria. Dear Tim, I write seeking advice in stopping Gerson coffee enemas. not. Which I have been self-administering times 2 daily for 6 years. Uh-oh. She's only 29 years young, and she's 5'5" and 155 pounds in weight. Yeah, I had a dentist friend, and he's an older man, retired dentist, and he had actually, his parents dropped him off at an orphanage. So he was raised in an orphanage growing up, and he said if they ever ate an apple, they thought they died and went to heaven. Bread, I can't remember all the stuff he told me, peanut butter sandwiches, almost like a large sandwich. I come from a place where, boonies and some of the, depends how about far back you go. Far past Honey Boo Boo, but back there they have large sandwiches. I had school friends that had large sandwiches for lunch. Bad place. But anyway, well, we all know that coffee is an extreme stimulant. We know a lot of you are drinking coffee in the morning just to have a bowel movement. So this stupid Gerson thing, it just upsets me so much because they've been on this planet long enough to grow spiritually. They've worked with enough people to understand that this does nothing but compromise the person. You can't stimulate your lymph system to work with coffee enemas. That's insane. What you end up doing is innervating your nervous system. And you end up getting to the point where you can't poop at all. He came to me because he was telling me this story when I first met him. He came into me and he telling me this story, and he said, we had a lot of white flour, a lot of white bread, a lot of ice cream, a lot of that. He said, I've always had extreme constipation, and I've always used coffee enemas to fix myself. And we're talking years. And I said, then I know why you're here. And he says, why? I said, you can't poop, can you? He said, not unless I do the coffee enema. So that's the problem. And that just shows you wrong way to get healthy. You should never have to do anything like that. You should never have to hurt yourself to get better. That's ridiculous. So, all right, here we go. I've got stomach and bowel number 5. All right, that's not a laxative, but it's bucking one. So number 5, all right, you're going to have to get on my number 5. And if you can step down to number 3, God bless you. But I would hit number 5, and I would do 2-3 times a day and see if you can still have a BM. If not, you might have to give yourself an enema or go up to 3 times a day. I had a lady that had Crohn's on 20 a day, number 5s, just to have a bowel movement. I saved her and got it fixed. But, I had to go pretty high up there. But you've got to use a non-addictive formula with dust cascara in it to pull yourself out of this. Because now you have to enhance. I'd also use brain and nerve number 2. I would use adrenal 400s, that sort of thing, to turn on my neurotransmitters, to get my adrenals up. That'll turn on the autonomic, which is peristalsis. Definitely want to get the lymph moving, because the harder the lymph is, the harder the bowel wall is, harder to have good peristalsis. See, dehydration of the lymph makes hard. So when you have hard intestinal walls, it's harder to have good peristalsis. Damn. So, you have to go that way. Of course, you want fruit because you want that, and you don't want juicing, you want the fiber. You want to start eating the fiber. You want that alive electrical fiber in that bowel, turning on that bowel wall, turning on the nervous system in the bowel wall. You want that electrical fiber. Easy to digest foods, things like that. Number 5, use that. And then as you start moving better, come down off of 5, go to 4 or number 3. And then you're doing good with that. Okay, I'm moving really good. I'm going to go down to number 2. I'm doing good now. I'm going to go down to number 1, which has nothing in it to move you whatsoever. Total cleanser. And that's where you want to go. That's where we try to go with everybody's down to number 1, and there we go. And that's where you're going to have to do something like that and follow this process to get out of this, because I've had people, like I said, locked, can't go anymore, and overstimulates the liver. You don't get anywhere by stimulation of tissue. You want dynamic energy from cells. You don't want a stimulated cell. Okay, I'll do my work. Okay, no, I'll do my work. See? That's from the cell. That's power from the cell. That's what we're going for. Not, oh, stimulate me. I can't even think. I'm so tired. We want to energize, promote, enhance, enliven, turn on. It's good. Let's see. My health is good apart from acne on my shin and the excess weight. So it tells me you got, and you might have a little thyroid in there too. The weight's probably going to be adrenal, definitely adrenals, but you might have a little thyroid here with the skin. So you want to look at your basal temperatures, honey. She's moving ever increasingly toward a fruit program. I'd be doing it sooner than later. Get off of these friggin' coffee enemas crap. Are you a cancer case? Because that's generally the people that go to Gerson. So you really want to think about kidneys. You want to get rid of that consciousness because that goes nowhere, and really get into this higher level of understanding the body and how to get your lymph moving and really fix this. But now my diet still includes almost daily cooked vegetarian foods, including grains. After 2 days without a coffee enema, I get very bad headache. Oh, I bet. Oh, I bet. And I feel bloated and gassy. Oh, I bet. Oh, yeah. And you might have to ride with that headache. You might have to ride that. I mean, you can titrate slowly if you want, but you need to get on these bowel formulas. But if you do that, get on the fruit, get on the herbs, all the herbs for the lymph and the kidneys and all that, it might pull that headache out of there. If it's a frontal headache, this is why. Stomach and bowels, you overstimulated them real bad, And so, make the jump. You got to do it. Start eating all your fruits. Get away from this other crap. Don't wait, Maria. Don't wait. You can do it now. You can do it. Here, we got all behind you. We're all behind her, right, everybody? You too? We're all behind her. Okay, let's go. We're behind you, Maria. You're going to stop the coffee enemas. You're going to get number 5s. Calm down slowly. You can top the number 5 enemas, but do it within a week. Because you're going to see some liver problems coming and stuff like that, and you don't want that. Not worth hurting yourself trying to get well. That's ridiculous. Don't need to do that. I love you guys. Thanks for putting up with me. Sometimes I get a little quirky, but there's just so much suffering out there. It's sad to me that this planet has gotten itself in such an ignorant position. I mean, it's a lot of unawareness here, and a lot of these ideas and theories are like, what? I mean, how do you come up with stuff like some of this stuff? I don't know. Man sunk pretty low, so it's our job to get them up. So we are, and I'm so proud of each and every one of you guys, and keep working with that now. Keep working with that. Put the mind out there, and you here in the moment. You be the observer. Let the mind go. Don't follow the mind when it's going. You stay back here in the now and let your mind bring you back. You be awake to the answers. It'll come and they'll be right there. The answer to your question will come right into your consciousness. But get used to letting your mind go on its own journey, because it is its own body. You're just the powerhouse for that body. You're supplying power so that body is you're the turn-on switch of the mind, you're the turn-on switch of the emotions, and you're the turn-on switch of the physical body. You pull your attention out of the physical body, cut that cord, you're done. That's it. Same thing with the astral body and mental bodies. You are the living truth. You remember that? You are the living truth. You are the living energy, the living consciousness out those eyes. And that you is infinite. That you is a gigantic, infinite, I don't even say a being, because you're part of the all. And it's a pleasure to work with each and every one of you. So you all have a great night or day, whatever that is when you view this. And to all you kids out there, eat your fruits, berries, and melons, guys and gals. It's going to make you smarter than the average bear. Bye-bye. Love you all.